My final post for the day, I hope, is a bit of a book club post. I reread the articles by Nick Mackenzie and Chris Masters. And if you want to just Google it, Masters, Mackenzie, Afghanistan, you will be able to find them all. Now, one of them talks about soldiers in the SAS, the good ones, worried about the bad ones, who they called going up the Congo. Now, people my age will know what that's about. If you're a veteran and you're about my age, one of your favourite movies will be Apocalypse Now, which was loosely based, or took the main themes from Joseph Conrad's book, Heart of Darkness. Now, both Heart of Darkness and Apocalypse Now are a bit all over the place, but I recently reread Heart of Darkness, funnily enough, just by coincidence. And the themes are, and the same as Apocalypse Now, that you've got a central character who, in the Vietnam case, he decides that in order to fight the savagery of the Viet Cong, who do things like cut the arms of babies who've been inoculated by the American NGOs, in order to show the local population, if you have anything to do with the invading force, we will savagely punish you in order to get allegiance. And Colonel Kurtz is this kind of visionary American soldier who decides to fight fire with fire, and he sets up some sort of death squads, and they go around beheading or doing equally brutal things in order to show the local population that they are just as much to be feared as the Viet Cong. And he's considered a bit of a visionary. The American government find out about it, and they decide his methods are unsound. That's a phrase also used in the original book about the Congo, which deals with instead the ivory trade and how originally they used to trade beads and trinkets with the natives for ivory, the local population, and this guy Kurtz has a better idea, and he sets himself up as a bit of a god, and utilises the tribes, and it's not quite clear, occult, magic, savagery, and he gets the ivory, human sacrifice, etc., and he gets a lot of ivory as a result. And again, while the company that runs the ivory trade is first very happy with his results, not surprisingly, when they find out quite what's going on, they want to relieve him of his command. The difference between the book and the movie is, in the book he thankfully he dies, whereas in the movie, as we know, something else happens. Now, that's what that Up the Congo reference is all about. The idea, something I heard over there myself, that certain members of the SAS like the idea of being the Australian Taliban, in that they would create fear in amongst the local population, that if the local population dealt with the Talibs in any way, they might suffer the same sort of fate that the Taliban would have meted out to you if you dealt with the coalition. Now, I'm not knocking that approach. Maybe they were visionaries, but I think most people would agree it's a bit of an unsound method. But this phrase "up the Congo" is thrown around in Afghanistan, Now, Chris Masters, according to Chris Masters and Nick Mackenzie. So interesting little book club note, and that gives you some idea about the magnitude of what was going on. Not fog of war incidents where people were shot by mistake, which of course did happen, and happened more often than not if they were shot. But there were some incidences where something much darker was going on. And one of the ways they got around it was to get young people, new recruits to get involved, to pull the trigger, and then those new recruits, a bit like a mafia gang, wouldn't be able to testify against you because they were complicit, or in fact part of the gang, part of the crime. Sobering stuff. Now, it's all in Mackenzie and Masters' stories. I've reread them with a bit more of a critical eye, and it's probably, I recommend them.